Today we have with us Dr. Axel Stepken, the Global CEO of TÜV SÜD. Welcome to our show, sir. So you have come to attend a power conference in India and you had opened a laboratory in Gurgaon in 2012. How big is the opportunity for you as a testing and certification company in India?
Well, we started our operations in India already some 25 years ago, and especially over the past 12 years, India has been one of our focus countries with the fastest growth in our whole group. And today we are focusing both, as you correctly said, on testing products, consumer products, textile products, food products, but more and more also any kind of inspections in infrastructure. And the reason why I attend this power conference is that we now, after the new government has come into power, we see that situations in India are rapidly changing, and we see strong moves, especially in certain infrastructure sectors. And the power sector is one of them, and the power and systems business is also for us as TÜV SÜD one of the main revenue contributors all over the world, and we hope also in future here in India.
Sir, a lot of power sectors in India are aging over the next 4 to 5 years. What opportunity do you see as a company that has the expertise of increasing the life cycle of power plants?
Yeah, we see a huge opportunity in that. We are among those who were impaneled by CEA some time ago to be among those who can do consultancy work in the renovation and modernization of conventional power plants. And what we do there is we assess the situation and monitor the situation, the power plants. We do measurements, performance measurements, do non-destructive testing in the whole power plant, and give then advice to the power plant operators what actually has to be done to first prolong the lifetime of the power plant. Our experience in other countries is that we can expand the lifetime of conventional power plants by certain measures by at least 15 years. We have also experience, and we also consult then our customers, that we can increase the efficiencies of the power plants by doing some measures by 8 to 12%. And this is where we see, for us as a business, a huge opportunity, but also for the country and for the power producers, huge opportunity to prolong the lifetime of their power plants and increase efficiency.
How big is the share from India in terms of revenue as compared to your other global businesses?
Our total business worldwide is approximately 2 billion euro. And the share in India right now is approximately 25 billion. In terms of manpower, we have 20,000 people worldwide. And among these 20,000, we have approximately 1,200 here in India.
Indian products fail the European tests most of the times. What is the reason behind that? Do you think it's just a technological issue, or is it also the cultural issue that the Indians do not believe in that kind of quality?
I think what is India going through right now is the same process as any country in the world, which today is called developed country. So when I look at myself, for instance, personal experience, only approximately 30 years ago, I did an internship in a, at that time, very modern German power plant. And the same equipment which they put into this power plant 30 years ago is now put into the power plants here in India. So, I mean, when we talk about emerging countries and developed countries, maybe there is a time lag between these countries. But whenever now, for instance, India modernizes its power stations, they have the same quality of power, the same, let's say, efficiency, and also the same environmental standards as we have in the developed part of the world.
Earlier this year, the Indian mangoes, which are exported all over the world, they failed the quality test for the European market. Do you think that your company can help Indian exporters increase the quality standards or better the quality standards in terms of food articles?
Well, the mango exports to Europe were banned due to the fact that there were pesticides found in the mangoes and certain samples. And what we already did in the past, but also after this incident we consulted and advised the exporters, the Indian exporters, especially to UK, what they can do, and I think they have also taken the right measures that, let's say, the fact as such is no longer valid, and I expect that then the ban will be taken away in a short period.
How important it is to regain the lost esteem in the international market when it comes to, for example, if a product, Indian product has been banned in the international market, how long does it take for the European countries or the importers to recast their faith in the Indian products?
I think that can go very fast. First of all, when you ask me as a German consumer, in Germany that case was not really very big. I think that was more a UK-based case. And I think when German consumers or European consumers have let's say, a signal of trust along with the product, like having a third-party certification and a test mark, a certificate, I think then the trust can come back very, very fast.
Indian politicians say that it is the European politics which is played against the Indian companies. How far do you agree with this statement?
There might be politics from time to time, yes. If this is fair is another question. That is also not my part of business to judge if something is fair in politics or not. What we as a third party can do is we can help to, let's say, give a certain basis of trust between the consumers in Europe and the suppliers here in India. And I think when we can show that, then it will be also much more complicated for politics to play their games.
There is a war going on between NTPC and Coal India Limited with regards to the quality of coal. And the Indian government also wants to appoint a third-party regulator or the third-party sample tester. Do you think you can be a part of that kind of an opportunity in India in coal as well as other sectors?
Here I have to say that we as TÜV SÜD are not in the business of certifying the quality of coal, but for sure also here a third-party certification company can help a lot to, let's say, achieve a fair game.
How big can India become in your global business, and which are the new verticals that you are looking at?
India is still one of the fastest growing countries which we have. So we have been growing over the past years approximately by 20 to 25% each year. And I don't see any reason why the growth rate should decrease very dramatically. And we have additional opportunities. I mean, we talk now about the power business. What I also see in future, where we see a huge need, is in terms of IT security. IT business is a huge business in India right now already. And with the globalization of this business, with everything being connected to everything, the aspect of security will be very, very important. And we have here, especially in Europe right now already, new services which we would see also as an addition to the existing portfolio also in India.
How big that can portfolio become in the coming years?
We have a certain target to increase by a factor of at least 3 over the next 6 to 7 years.
What is it that you look for while setting up your base in a country? For example, when in 2012 you decided to set up a laboratory in Gurgaon, what was it that you looked for before coming to India?
First of all, India is for us a huge market. And that is one of the reasons why it absolutely made sense to open up such a lab for testing of textile and of food. And these tests and inspections are done mostly for the Indian market itself. But when we now talk about power, what we right now do is we set up a competence center here in India where we place Indian engineers with Indian knowledge. Of course, combine that with the knowledge which we have globally in our group and try then first of all to handle projects here in India. We talked about that. But then also in the future we'll try to use this competence also to do business from India then in other countries like Middle East, like other parts of Asia. And here we have of course right now especially a cost advantage compared to when we would open up such a competence center, for instance, in Europe or in the Americas.
How many jobs one lab creates in a country?
A lab, our largest lab in Gurgaon, created by now approximately 300 jobs, and I expect over the next years another 200 to 300. And tomorrow I will go to Bangalore, and there we have a lab with 400 people.
So these are all high-end jobs? These
are not all high-end jobs. They are very, very high sophisticated people. By the way, some of the chemists which we have here in India helped us to set up certain new procedures in our German labs. So they have world-class level. But of course, we have also other kind of work there in these labs.
All right. And you also spoke about doing business from India in other countries. Which are the other countries in South Asia where you are present and you are just doing the business? And how big is India when it comes to doing business from other countries?
We do in South Asia, we do business in India and in Bangladesh. Also there in Bangladesh, we set up a lab for testing of textile with the help of our Indian organization. So we have never had any German or European there in Bangladesh. Everything was done from India. And what we now, as a second step, try to do is that we use our competences here from India, also Middle East. Like many other companies also do. We have not done that in the past, and we will also do that in the future.
What are your what kind of business opportunities do you see in the auto sector?
We have basically started our businesses here in India in the automotive sector by certification of both OEMs, but also of Tier 1 and Tier 2 suppliers for the automotive industry. And that is what we still do today. I think here we are one of the market leaders in the certification area. And what we of course observe is that India more and more also is part of the global supply chain in the automotive industry. So what we do is then do vendor qualification for international applications, do certification of parts, but also management system certifications for Tier 1, Tier 2 suppliers who want to export their products then to Europe, to US or to Japan.
Recently, Competition Commission of India came out with a ruling that the Indian automobile manufacturers, basically the car manufacturers, they have created a sort of monopoly in supplying the spare parts to the dealers. And the ruling says that now in future there would be independent spare part makers who will get the opportunity and they should be allowed to supply the spare parts to the dealers. Do you see a business opportunity there? Because there would be more and more number of spare part dealers who would need your certification.
I think that is something which at the end of the day the market will decide. When I look into other countries, obviously it's always the wish of independent spare part producers to produce spare parts for different OEMs. But the OEMs are careful to take these parts because also they have their quality procedures and we support them in that. Of course, we could certify these spare parts, but I think the market of the OEMs is not really ready to do that. And for that reason, I don't think that is a real business opportunity, neither for us and nor for those who today at least try to produce spare parts. I don't think that is a good business model.
How many companies are you competing with in India in terms of your certification business?
In terms of certification, we have the large international certification institutions. I would say there might be 10 or 15. And then we have, of course, local competitors. But our major business we do with those manufacturers and service companies or whatever who like also to be on a world standard, and we observe that those companies, those part of our customers usually choose international certification organizations.
In the power and the infrastructure sectors, what is the portfolio like? Whether it is the private sector or the government sector?
Especially in the power sector, we are more on the government side, both on municipality level but also on the state level. And as we right now are organizing, and that's the reason why I'm here in India, we are organizing this power conference. We also find among the audience most of our customers from the public sector.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.